all. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. I'm really happy to have everyone gathered here today because this hairstyle was a long time coming. It took me 1 week. Sorry, let me bring this down. It took me 1 week to do this hair. It was not intentional, but it's what needed to be done. But that's why I'm making this video, because I'm gonna make the process easier for you guys, so you guys don't have to spend 1 week doing this hair, right? Invisible Locs is a fairly new hairstyle. I was a little overconfident. I kind of thought I was just gonna get it the first time, and that's just not what happened, okay? It took me a week because there were a lot of trial and errors in this process. But hopefully, if you watch this video and watch it thoroughly, this hairstyle will take you no more than 2 days to complete. I feel like I finally got down the process, so that way it will be much easier for you guys to accomplish this hairstyle in a shorter amount of time. But so what do we think, first of all, right? I hope you guys like the hairstyle. I definitely think this was 1 week well spent. I mean, the hair looks absolutely amazing. My parts are like super clean. Let me show you guys. My parts are really, really clean. And I really hope this video motivates you guys to try this hairstyle, and above all, do it yourself. Follow me on Instagram because there's a lot of action that goes on my Instagram page that I feel like my YouTube subscribers are missing out on. Please follow me on Instagram because you will not regret it. And yeah, cue the video. So for this hairstyle, I ended up using 2 different types of kinky hair, Cuban Twist and Nubian Twist respectively, in the shades 1B and 1. And I also used a pack of free tress crochet hair because I wanted to add some curls to my Invisible Locs. I did a couple of rows off camera, and you guys can see that I did not do the best job here. But that is the beauty of this hairstyle, is the fact that it gets worse before it gets better. And when it got better, it got a lot better, as you guys will see as the video progresses. So right now I'm sectioning the front half of my hair from the rest of the back, and I just do this so I can stay organized. You know, I like staying on top of things regarding my hair, and doing this just makes the process much easier. I'm not parting it out perfectly because I know once I get to that point I'm gonna part it out better, but I just like doing this, like I said, to stay on top of things. So as I'm doing that, let's talk gels real quick. It was low-key a struggle finding the perfect gel to use for this hairstyle. You know, I used about 3 different kinds of gels / edge controls, but the one that worked for me the most is this one right here. When I tell you, like, I've never like seen a wax. It's more like a wax. I've never come across like a gel wax that felt lightweight on my strands while simultaneously giving me a crazy amount of hold. Because if you're someone that like does locks, or if you've ever done this hairstyle before, you know that those base twists, the way that they're twisted, it's hard for them to stay in place without some type of like assistance. So you definitely need like a strong holding gel to kind of freeze the twist in place. But yeah, I also use the edge booster, the one in the white tube, for the back portion of my hair, and honestly I regretted it so much because it left this really nasty white chemical film, and it just grossed me all the way out. I was so disgusted. I threw that tube in the trash so quick, like you didn't even have to tell me twice. So I have my little mirror set up right here, and it's nothing too special. As long as you're able to see the back of your head, that's really all that matters. And how you do this is you just have to have 2 mirrors that are facing each other. That's literally it. I see so many people overthinking this, but there's really no magic trick to it. As long as you're able to see the back of your head, those parts will definitely come out as neat as you want them to be. So now I'm just using my mirror setup to section off the rows that I'll be doing today. Now, when parting out your rows, you want to make sure that they're not too thin because you want to have enough room to be able to twist down your base twist. I don't know about you guys, but part of what gravitated me towards this hairstyle is the fact that they mimic that fresh lock retwist. And in order to make it look like that, you want to have enough room to comfortably twist down the base of your part. So here I'm just checking the width of the rows as well as the length of the parts that I'll be working with to make sure they'll be able to comfortably accommodate those base twists. I was so happy about that damn part. So for each part that you section off, you want to divide it into two in order to install the base twist. You guys can see I've already installed one of the base twists and now I'm installing the other one. And I'm just doing that by attaching one end of the Marley hair onto the section I'm working on and kind of just twisting them all together. I found that this was the easiest method in order to make the twist look as knotless and as dread-like as possible. I had twisted the base twists in different directions and that was a big mistake. So when it was time to bring the two legs together, it became really confusing trying to start the twist and also trying to just twist it all the way down in general. You want a rope twist when it comes to this hairstyle, and if you're someone that is used to doing their own hair, you know that rope twisting is basically twisting each leg before wrapping them around each other to create the twist, the main twist. The problem with twisting the base twist in different directions was that it got really confusing trying to figure out what leg to twist in what direction, before it's now twisting them around each other. So I definitely would not recommend you twisting the base twists in different directions because I do not want you to be as confused as I was. And it was just a lot easier starting the main twist when both of those base twists were twisted in the same direction. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about as the video progresses. And then once the base was secured enough, I went ahead and brought the twist and my hands towards the front because my arms were definitely killing me. And I personally was going for a lob look. So that means I had to add the curly crochet piece very early on in the twist. And you can wait till you're done doing your whole hair before now going in and individually adding the pieces with a crochet needle. I personally did not own a crochet needle, so I had to install the curly pieces manually. So that's what I'm just doing right now. And this is what we have. It honestly doesn't look that bad, but the second method that I used looks a million times better and it's far easier. And we are fastly approaching the front of our hair, so I'm just trying to perfect that section that I had parted earlier on in the video. So I kind of started doing the front of my hair off camera, and y'all see the difference in these locks. Y'all saw how, funny they were looking in the back, but they look so good now. I mean, these locks literally look like salon quality. And that sometimes, not even sometimes, that really is the beauty in making mistakes, is that you end up just learning so much from it. So now I'm about to show you guys how to properly install these locks, and this is such a foolproof method. Anyone can do it. You can get salon quality hair right at the comfort of your home. But just give me a second to take down this twist. So here I'm taking those base twists and I am twisting them in the same direction. Discovering this honestly made my life a million times easier. And once I felt they were twisted tight enough to my liking and neat enough to my liking, I went ahead and got the main twist started. But the key here is this: it doesn't matter what direction you twist those base twists, but one, you have to make sure you twist them in the same direction, and two, when you're starting that main twist, you must start in the opposite direction. Doing it this way is going to give you a very, very seamless twist when it's all said and done. And it's gonna look very, very knotless. As you guys can see, the other twists look really good. So this was the method that I used, and honestly, it was up from here on out. Like, it became so easy to do this hairstyle. So make sure you just keep in mind that whatever direction you twist those base twists in, you have to start the main twist in the opposite direction. And twisting those base twists in the same direction made it a lot easier to install the main twist. The rope twisting wasn't as tedious because I didn't have to figure out which leg to twist in what direction. All the legs were being twisted in the same direction, and it was just beautiful. I have one more row to finish on the back area before we get started on the front. So now I'm sectioning the part that I will be working on, going in to make sure it looks as neat as possible. And then I further divided that part into two because we will be installing our base twist. And like I said in the beginning, I attached the Marley hair the second I started to twist. And how I did that is I just attached one end of the Marley hair to the part that I was working on, and I kind of just twisted them all together at once. And doing it this way, it made the Marley hair blend really well. I hope I explained that well, but that's how I do it. It's not a hard process. You're twisting, but you're just adding the Marley hair as you're twisting the base twist. And I applied gel, of course, before I started to twist. In this case, I twisted both of those base twists towards the right. And since we're twisting them to the right, we will be starting our main twist towards the left. And I pinned each twist once I was done twisting them. You want to make sure you invest in high quality pins in this case. I tried using like different pins to keep the base twists in place, but this particular one, and I also think this is what they use for dreadlocks as well, is what kept it in place the most. It kept it looking real tight and real nice and gripped. So you want to invest in high quality pins for this hairstyle. And when I'm feeding in the crochet hair, I make sure to make it uneven. That way the curly piece is not longer than my invisible locks. And it can get a little confusing when trying to feed in the hair. So one method that I found that worked for me is whatever direction you're twisting your main twist, you attach the curly hair in that direction. So because I was twisting this twist towards the back, I added the curly piece towards the back. It catches much quicker that way, and it's really easy to feed in, and it's really seamless above all. But as I said in the beginning, like you can always like use a crochet needle to crochet the pieces in once you're done with your hair. And I did not twist the hair all the way down because who in the world has time for that? Them Marley hair pieces were way too long for me to twist all the way down. So once they got to a point where they weren't going to unravel, I left it and I moved right on to the next one. I think it's really important that I show you guys how I maneuver the back of my head because let's face it, that's the hardest part. So I hope that this footage is enough for you guys to kind of have an easier process when doing the back of your own head of hair, because especially with this hairstyle, the back was definitely the hardest part. Now that we're at the front of my hair, you guys can get a better view as to how I attach the Marley hair to my hair before I start to twist. So I'm basically like kind of tucking it into my hair before I start to twist. And just reiterating what I said earlier, because I twisted the base twist towards the left, I will be starting my main twist towards the right. I part my hair significantly smaller at the front than I do at the back because I personally do not like wasting too much time doing the back of my hair, so I kind of like cheat in a way by parting them a lot bigger. And once I get to the front, that's where I like to take my time and, you know, really just show love to my twist here, because that's the part that people are gonna see, and it's also the front part of my hair, so I want it to look the best and the neatest. And I also noticed that with this hairstyle, the smaller the parts, the neater those base twists will be, because of how small the parts are, the grip on those base twists will be much tighter. And once you get the hang of this hairstyle, it becomes smooth sailing, and it almost becomes satisfying in a way, seeing how nice you're making your twists. It's really, it feels like an accomplishment almost, but that's just me, I don't know. And if the twists are a little smaller than you would like them to be, you are free to feed in some more Marley hair. That's what I found myself doing at the front. Sometimes the end of the Marley hair can stick out after you've done the base twist. All you really need is just a pair of shears to just cut it, and you know, it's an easy fix. So the hardest thing that I found about twisting the ends of the Invisible Locs was sometimes like they ended up at different lengths, and yeah, this definitely was harder than I anticipated it to be. But what I'm doing essentially is checking to see where there are any gaps, and I'm basically just filling in the gaps. And you want to make sure you wear like a light colored shirt if you use this method, so that you'll be able to clearly see the gaps. You know, you want contrast. So once I gauge to see where it needs to be filled in, I then take my Invisible Loc, or twist rather, and I kind of measure it up to the gap. And another thing too is, like, when you're measuring the twist, you don't want to tug at it. I noticed that that's how I ended up with some knots being longer than the others. You want to make sure you put a light grip and light force when you're measuring out. I went ahead and started to knot the twist. And I personally wanted my knots to be chunky. I didn't want them to be skinny. So I kind of knotted the twist on top of itself just so it could create that nice bulkiness that gravitated me to this style to begin with. And once I was done twisting, I went ahead and took my black rubber band. You want to make sure you use, well, if you're using black hair, make sure you use a black rubber band. And I went ahead and held the knot in place. And I used about 2 rubber bands for each knot. So to finalize the hairstyle, I'll be going in with some mousse in order to de-stiffen the twist, as well as to soothe my scalp, and also to keep the curls from tangling. Mousse does a really good job at refreshing the curls and preventing them from tangling. But personally, I wouldn't really use this mousse. I was really disappointed in this particular mousse from Garnier. The mousse I would recommend is from Bada. Oh my god, like this mousse is so good, and it's so good for what it's worth. It's only like $5, but it does a hell of a job. Like, it did such a good job at keeping my hairstyle as refreshed as possible. So I'm mercilessly just applying mousse all over my twist, my scalp, for the final touches. I also clipped some stray Marley hair pieces that were bugging me. But this is it, you guys. We finally made it to the end of the video. It took me 1 week to complete this hairstyle, and I can't even believe it till this day. But it was, to me, 1 week well spent, because I wore the hair for about almost 2 months, and I was enjoying every bit of it. I felt really beautiful in it. I styled it in so many different hairstyles. And also, I'll be uploading a video on the few ways I styled these Invisible Locs in case you're looking for inspiration. So make sure you're subscribed for that. Turn on my post notifications. Follow me on Instagram, the whole 9. And yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. As always, it's a pleasure to have you guys, and I will be seeing you guys in my next videos to come. Ciao.